Hello everyone, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the best PreCure episode ever. Episode 32 from Wonderful PreCure. Obviously not really the best, but if you know me, you know how I'm feeling. You know how I am feeling. I am someone who loves Hirogaru Sky PreCure like to death. I love that team so much. And I was very happy to see them in a couple of scenes from this episode. But if you know me, you also know that I am married to Kabaton from Hirogaru Sky. And Kabaton was there. We had so many nice Easter eggs in this episode. We had Kabaton, Minaton, and Kaiserin appearing together with the animals. Kaiserin was so funny with the roosters. Girl. Oh my god, Kaiserin would be angry at that. She's a rocker girl, baby. And we also had Monda from Hirogaru Sky. But we also had the girls from Mahotsukai PreCure. We had Mirai, Riko, Hachan, and Mauve Furun also appearing as Easter eggs. But we did have Hirogaru Sky appearing as like actual characters. They did have speaking lines. They showed their personalities a little bit, and I loved it. So before talking about the episode itself, I'm gonna have to talk about the Hirogaru Sky appearance. I just really loved that scene with the kangaroos, and then Tsubasa started speaking and talking about them. And it's very on character for Tsubasa. He's very knowledgeable. He loves studying. He loves knowing about other things. So talking about that is very on brand for him. And the way Agehel was like, oh, Shonen, and she held him like she always does. It was so cute. The way Sora was talking to Mashiro, and then El-chan making her cute baby voice. I love that team so much. And then at the end of their scene, we have a recreation of another image from Hirogaru Sky. That image already existed. It is from the Thanksgiving event, and now it appeared in the episode. Very pretty. And we had the wonderful PreCure girls talking about them and saying that, oh, they are a very strong group. They're probably very good friends, because they were talking about their dynamic. I found that so sweet, because that happens with every PreCure team. After spending so much time together, we get to see how strong their bond is. And another scene we had from the Hirogaru team was also cute, because we were able to see Elle not as a baby. And I love it because we saw so little of her as not a baby in the season, as like a regular civilian and not Cure Majesty in the season. So it was cute. We were able to see that in this episode as well. Very nice. So yeah, let's talk about Wonderful now. Obviously, this was part of the episode. This is part of Wonderful. This makes it even more wonderful. I am so happy. But I'm also very happy with this episode as well. I think it was really lovely. Really cute. Sakura, amazing. Oh my goodness. And one of the things that I want to say is that we have to pay attention to two things. But one thing is like adjacent, which is Yuki's body language. It's so good in every single episode. And in this episode, it was stellar, in my opinion. The way she walks, the way she portrays herself, her tsundere ways, her the way that she's not always wanting to connect with her feelings 100% or show her feelings 100%. And the way it is shown through her expressions and her body expression, her body language. It is really good. And I feel like it's one of the highlights of Wonderful in general. The way they're dealing with Yuki's character is really something else. I am loving. And another thing, I'll get there when we get there. So in this episode, they go to the zoo, and it is a petting zoo. You're able to connect with the animals in a closer way. And so they go, and when they go, I want to mention one thing. Mayu, Iroha says that she has a favorite animal, which is an animal. She doesn't say she has a favorite. She says she talks about an animal that it has impacted her and is kind of like her friend. And so Mayu tells her like, "Oh, is that animal your Oshi?" Girl, Oshi is, and Mayu explains what Oshi means, which means your favorite. And this is a word that is usually used in idol language. When you're talking about your favorite idol from a group, she is your Oshi. And I use that a lot when I'm talking about my favorites from my groups, from the idol groups that I'm a fan of. And that language is also used for VTuber fans. VTuber fans use a lot of Oshi and Kamiyoshi for their favorite VTubers as well. That is a language that is a word that is being used a lot lately because of VTubers. But it's always been used by idol fans as well. So it was a very nice explanation. I just got reminded of my own experiences. And so we get to have lots of sweet moments of them enjoying themselves at the zoo. We see Hirogaru Sky, blah, blah, blah. It was so nice. So we get to a point in which they go to a snake place. There we had another Easter egg by Britney Spears. Remember the I'm a Slave for You Britney performance that she had a snake like that? Girl, that was a Britney Easter egg, I'm sure. I'm joking. But what is important at that moment is that we had another scene between Yuki and Nico-sama. Nico-sama in this episode was very preeminent. Nico kept on appearing in lots of scenes, kept on paying attention to lots of things. And in that moment, Nico wanted to talk to Yuki. Yuki did not enter the snake place because she's scared of snakes. We know that about her character. And Nico wanted to talk to Yuki about her relationship with Mayu. And Yuki did not say a word. Okay, Nico is in the human world. She should have been in Nico Garden, but she is here in the human world. What is she doing here? Well, she did not say much, but she did tell Iroha and Komugi that she is staying at their place. She just wants to have fun. She just wants to have a good time. But deep down, we know that's not the case. Nico is all smiles. She has a cute voice. She is always portraying herself as a little queen. But she is probably here to study the relationship between humans and animals. Nico's point is to make animals smile. Nico's goal is to make animals smile. So, at least to me, I believe that Nico is doing what she's doing because she wants to learn how to connect humans and animals again so that animals can smile, because she is seeing potential in that because of the wonderful and Neanderthal duos. But Yuki is seeing right through Nico because Nico is not being honest with them. And so why should Yuki be honest with her? So Yuki is not telling. Girl, I'm not telling. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? Please tell me. And then we get to meet Sakura, who is a grandmother elephant, an old elephant that has been in this zoo for a long time. She's been there when Iroha's parents were still kids. And we get to see the relationship, the special friendship that Iroha has with Sakura. It was really sweet. Loved those moments. They really connected, and we could really see that connection. But not only Iroha and Sakura, we could see that Sakura is an animal that other animals look up to, admire, and feel at ease with. And because of that, obviously, it was a big thing that Sakura ended up being the Gaogaon, not Garugaru, Gaogaon. So when Sakura was turned into the Gaogaon, a little before that, we had a scene with Zakuro. And look, it was very funny when Zakuro was looking at the animals at the zoo, and she was searching for an animal that would, brighten up her day and take her love away from Gaon. She was looking at the male animals and none of them actually called her attention. She was like, okay, Gaon is my love. No one comes close. It was very funny. It was so out of not out of place. It makes sense for her character, but it was so unexpected to me. I thought it was a lot of fun. But what I found really interesting about her is that when she was talking about the zoo itself, she said that it is absurd that humans created a place for animals to be trapped inside. And for her, that is absurd. And if we think about it, it is absurd indeed. There's a reason why zoos exist. But it was like, what was weird in this episode to me is that the episode itself did not give a counterpoint to what Zakuro was saying. And Zakuro has a point in what she is saying, you know? So it felt like, well, is she right? I mean, she is, but as I said, there is a point in zoos existing. But why didn't the episode bring this view as well? I feel like it would have been nice because, as I've been saying for a while, it is really hard to go against what the villains of this season are saying. It's really hard because they have a very strong argument and a very strong point against humans. And if we look at the humans that exist in the world nowadays, we know that they're right. I know Wonderful PreCure is not the real world. I know that. But still, even in the Wonderful PreCure world, their argument makes a lot of sense. So when she turns Sakura into the Gaogan, the girls are ready and they transform and they try to save her. I think one of the things that is really bugging me about the latest scenes is that they are the amount of barriers that they've been trying to use. They have 9 different kid-eating animals at their disposal, and they always start with the barriers. And in this episode, like, there was a moment they could have used a barrier that would have made so much more sense than the way they did at the start of the action scene, which was when she was trying to break the wall. And they did not use the barrier at that time. So it was like, why? And so it was nice that they used the kid-eating animal powers. They tried to do something different. And they tried to use different techniques. Even Kuriyami used the panda power again. I was so happy to see the glasses. It did not work. Gaogan is very big. An elephant Gaogan. Really big, very powerful. But I liked the moment that they used the shields around Sakura, Gaogan Sakura. I don't know. That was a good usage of the shields. You know, that was a good way to use it. But there's one thing I don't really like in magical girls in general is when something external happens for the magical girls to win the battle. Like, it was not them that did it. And it happened in this episode. The animals were the ones who actually made Sakura regain her consciousness again. But I will have to say that for me, in this episode, it worked. Because Sakura is so endearing, and there was so much character construction in her that it worked perfectly, having all the animals lined up to stop her from trying to break free, from trying to wreak havoc in the world. I really liked that. It was really pretty. And then we had Cure Friendly, going up for her and hugging her. It really brought me back to the earlier days of Wonderful when they won the battles with hugging, or the actions with hugging. It really got me back to those days, and Sakura noticed that Cure Friendly was actually Iroha. It was very sweet. And then they were able to heal her again. And it's funny how Nico was very was participating a lot in this battle. She was always saying something, and she was worried, and she was paying attention to what was going on. Nico is really using everything as a study of her own. Very, very peculiar. And then at the end, we see them, enjoying the day that they had. And, even Yuki saying, well, if Mayu liked the zoo, if she wants to come back, I'll be happy to come back as well. Obviously, a lot of things related to Yuki are very interesting. I feel like she is one of the central points of Wonderful to me. I love the way her character is. And another thing that I did not talk about was the rabbit scene with Satoru. It's also very endearing to see Satoru talking about the things he loves and seeing his perspective on things, and his love, his passion, his knowledge. it is always nice when the show focuses on that because I feel like that's also very cool. Anyways, episode 32 from Wonderful was really, really cute. I feel like this was a very strong episode, especially because we had Iroha really showing more of herself. I think we did not have something new, like completely new for her character, but we did have something very interesting because that was a moment in which she started having a friendship with an animal when she was very young. And she probably noticed that from that moment on, she could be friends with animals in general. So I don't know, I see that and I think, well, that might have been the first step or when the egg hatched for Iroha's wish to befriend all the animals. And I feel like that's an interesting thing for us to look at when it comes to her character because that is a central point for her character. And I've been wanting more Iroha. I've been really needing more because I feel like we get very little. And I think this episode delivered. It did not bring drama. It did not bring character development for Iroha, but it did bring some Iroha. So I'm already happy. Anyways, babies, this is it for now. I want to take this little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it. If you're a member here on YouTube, on Patreon, if you support me on Throne, thank you very, very much. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!